Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at gcnlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Here we go. Your dial is set correctly to usaprepares.com. We broadcast 2 hours from high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains, and if you'd like to call us, we'll pay for the call. 866-582-9933. 866-582-9933. And we have a telephone listen line if you'd like to listen as you travel. That's 605-477-3249. 605-477-3249. John is engineering the broadcast at Genesis Communications Network. And today we're going to be talking with our dear friend and farmer, Werner Bock. Welcome, Werner Bock.
Good morning, Vincent.
Good morning. And Werner Bock is in New Brunswick, Canada. And he and I are farmers, and we're going to be talking about something that was quite terrifying at one time. And we're going to be talking about mad cow disease. We're going to be talking about what our thoughts are about it. And we'll be talking about radiation. We'll be talking about microwaves. We'll be talking about measurements that Werner has taken in New Brunswick, Canada. And we're also going to discuss why we're concerned. Mad cow disease is something that has spread into the United States. It's bovine spongiform encephalopathy, BSE as it's abbreviated, and it's transmissible. It's a slowly progressible, degenerative, and fatal disease. It affects the central nervous system of adult cattle. And the USDA, also known as the U.S. Department of Agriculture, has tested hundreds of thousands of cattle for BSE, and the researchers believe that the infectious agent that causes mad cow disease is an abnormal version of a protein normally found on cell surfaces called a prion. And it alters and destroys nervous system tissue, the brain and the spinal cord. And we're still not sure exactly why. At least that's the information that I have. Werner, you're very concerned about BSE or mad cow disease as well.
Yeah. As I say, not as much anymore concerned because I don't have cattle anymore. Mm-hmm. Thanks to the excellent assistance and expertise that's been passed on to us here in New Brunswick. With the great expertise in the Department of Agriculture, a region that at one time was self-sufficient in food production and in beef is now importing over 90% of their food. So much about government agencies and government experts being the solution to problems. And when it comes to BSE, there, when it was a real pressing issue there several years back, when you're on your side of the border, the American government barred the import of Canadian beef because of BSE cases of BSE in Western Canada. It basically knocks the wind out of most of the beef farmers and basically took their financial basis away, and they just plain closed the doors. But there has been an ongoing war on to the farmers who have been farming organically and sustainable by mainstream media, by the so-called experts, by big multinational corporations and their incestuous relationship with government agencies, And most of the public, they're being basically brainwashed that it's the small bee farmers that are the problem, where the problem about BSE outbreaks, and it wasn't the small bee farmers. It were big multinational corporations like Cargill and several others who operate vertical integration especially in Western Canada, where they have the big feedlots, they got the slaughterhouses, and they got the feed mills. And they were mainly recycling waste from the slaughterhouses and mixing it into cattle feed. And then there was another issue where for about 2 years the Food and Drug Administration and Department of Agriculture, they turned a blind eye where residues from sheep slaughtering from Australia and New Zealand were being imported here into North America. And sheep carry a disease that's very much related to BSE. It's called scabies. And basically the government, they turned a blind eye. Even though it was outlawed, they kept importing it and allowed it to be imported. Basically, they were asleep at the switch.
Werner, there's a term called rendering.
Yeah, this is basically where slaughterhouse waste or cattle that have died, they're getting cooked up, and ground up and mixed into feed. But that is not happening on the farm. That is happening in those big vertical integrated enterprises. The big multinational corporations. Everything for a buck.
I don't know if I've shared this with you, but when I lived in Virginia on the East Coast, a little closer to you, I had a computer manufacturing company. And I built networks for lots of businesses, hospitals, doctors' offices, dentists' offices, and concrete manufacturing companies. I mean, the list was pretty large of the types of companies. So I got a chance to see a lot of the inside of how companies work. And one of our customers was a rendering company. And literally, they had trucks that rode around with these big circular tanks on the back. And they had a little crane. And so if a deer was killed on the side of the road, they would pick it up. If cows died in the field, they would go and pick them up. If the power failed in these large chicken factory houses where there are 5,000 chickens all in a barn, in a chicken barn, if the power failed and they overheated in the summer because the ventilation system stopped working, those dead birds would be scooped up with front-end loaders and brought to this truck. And and the truck would pick up euthanized animals from kill-type animal shelters. I guess that's a mixed term, and they would be brought to the rendering plant where they would be ground up, so fur and all kinds of dead animals, cows, chickens, horses, deer, roadkill, diseased animals that were put down because they had cancer. All these animals would be just picked up, ground up at the rendering plant, and then cooked into a slurry, and that slurry would be sold as protein, and it would be sold for dog food. So when you look at the color of dog food, it kind of looks like ground up dead animals. Yeah, literally. I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
So
since you mentioned about deer, roadkill, another version is of BSE is deer wasting disease. It's all related. Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease is the human version, and deer wasting disease. Some hunters, especially in the West, what I was reading about, they came down with that disease. And another source about transmitting of CJ, the human version of BSE, is being acquired can be acquired by surgery in hospital. When the equipment has not been properly sterilized.
Mm-hmm. So some more of that story is that these animals are ground up, and then that's hair and all, hoofs, everything. Just the whole animal just put in there, ground up, cooked, and this slurry is protein, and it's sold to the dog food manufacturers, and they add whatever percentage of protein they want to be in their pet food. So your dog food may have 21% protein, it may have 22, 25, 28, 26. It may have, different amount of this slurry, this rendered animal guts, waste, disease, and so forth. And I've also mentioned that I met a lot of people who worked there in the office. Now, the office was, a couple 100 feet away from where they cooked and ground up these dead animals. And those people were very healthy, and they were very hairy. The ladies who worked there, in their 20s, would show me their arms. They say, look at this. And they were, it's not like they were gorillas. It's not like that. But they had a lot of peach fuzz on their arms, and their hair on their head was really healthy looking. So it was like their skin was fertilized to grow hair. I mean, that's what it was like. And they said that it was because of the protein in the air that traveled from the rendering plant to their skin. And they never got sick, and that's what they said. However, what they were doing was working in an office where they were processing all kinds of animal byproducts. And if you look at the bag of your dog food, you'll see that it has all kinds of parts of all kinds of animals, as ingredients. And if you wonder where that comes from, it comes from this process of rendering as we pick up dead animals along the road. So if you ever wonder where they go, that's one of the places where they go. So these are animals that are not just freshly killed for food. These are animals that have been dead for, a day or two or 5 or a week. But by cooking it, it seems to make it
palatable.
A little safer. A little safer. But I'm not interested in eating dog food. And I'm not interested in eating rendered meat either. But I wanted to share that with you, Werner. And so we're talking about mad cow disease, and we believe that part of the reason is we're feeding cows to cows.
No, Vincent, not we.
Well, excuse me. You're absolutely right. Not you and me. They are.
The traditional farmers.
And my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market, the gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
My computer is so slow, it's making me crazy.
I used to have that problem.
Did you quit using a computer, or did you buy a new one?
No, I called Geeks On Site. They made an appointment to visit my home and showed up the same day.
You mean they didn't ask you to bring your computer to a shop? That's what happened when I called a support company.
Geeks On Site can go to your home or business or even repair your computer online. They have 24/7 emergency service.
If you are having problems with your PC or Mac, call Geeks On Site, 1-800-591-1682. Our friendly certified computer repair experts are available 24/7. Call now for a free diagnosis, 1-800-591-1682. Data recovery, virus removal, and maintenance for all laptops, desktops, printers, and networks. That's Geeks On Site for friendly certified computer repair experts, available 24/7 over the phone or in your home or business. Just call 1-800-591-1682. That's 1-800-591-1682, 1-800-591-1682.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Plus, Werner Bock is with us, and Werner Bock is a farmer in New Brunswick, Canada, and we're talking about mad cow disease, and prior to this we were talking about rendering animals. And Werner, let me just share a little bit more. So some of the fat that comes from this rendering process is skimmed off the top. Some of it goes to the animals, and some of it, along with fat that comes from the clean out of the grease traps at restaurants, is saved for another use. And that use is cosmetics. Cosmetics in the industry where mostly women will apply these potions to their faces and their skin to make them look different from the way they naturally look. Some might say they look better with them, and but the grease from the rendering and from the grease traps of restaurants is saved to as an ingredient for cosmetics. So if you're wondering where those oily substances come from, there you go. I think.
Vincent, I want to bring the attention.
Werner, I can hardly hear you.
Oh,
Werner,
I want to
could
bring
you speak
the
up a
attention
little?
to another aspect, and when I became more aware about BSE or Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease.
Yes.
It was about 12 years ago or so when it was very much in the news. I was listening one night to Coast, and they had a guest on, and he was talking about that during the Second World War, the Japanese, when they occupied the Indonesia, parts of Indonesia, that they were experimenting with developing CJD as a biological weapon, where the scientists deliberately infected some of the headhunter tribes who practice in their ritual cannibalism. They deliberately infected them with CJD, Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease.
Yes, mad cow
in
disease.
order to develop it as a biological weapon. And then I was asking myself the question, by the end of the war, after the end of the war, a lot of the technology from the German and Japanese scientists, they were being picked up by the Allied governments and further developed. And then about 20 years ago, I read that of the British Isles, there was one island that was completely blocked for anybody to enter it because of it was so heavy, contaminated with anthrax. And I asked myself the question, where were the first outbreaks, known outbreaks, massive outbreaks of CJD or BSE? They were on the British Isles. And I was wondering if those mad scientists weren't experimenting with, when they picked up the technology, weren't continue to experiment with CJD or BSE, and some of it got away. Maybe it got away intentionally, or maybe it was an accident. But when we look at sudden outbreaks of diseases, you know, the way they happen, like Lyme disease, you know, and first outbreaks were not far away from Plum Island. So I'm asking the question, were those eventually accidental releases, or were they intentional releases of some of the diseases? And I remember there about 40 or 50 years ago, when they started with the EU, they had the agenda of basically eliminating at least 80% of the smaller farms, you know, in favor of big farming corporations. And as I say, we have to look at all different aspects.
You know, I was watching a series on the screen with the family last night, and it's about the Manhattan Project. And one of the characters was a physicist. His name is Niels Bohr, a quantum physicist. And he said, "Is it big enough?" And what he meant was, well, I'll tell you when we come back. I'll tell you what he meant when he said, "Is it big enough?"
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Planning to buy food storage? Wait a minute. Many companies try to confuse you with the number of servings they sell. It's not about the number of servings, it's about the number of calories. In emergencies, calories mean survival. Go to ReadySupplyFoods.com for a comparison of leading companies. Ready Supply Foods sells the most calories per dollar of any company. Our 23 entrees and breakfasts are delicious and full of nutritious calories. The new leader in value and quality. Go to ReadySupplyFoods.com today.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
For over 5 years, you've been hearing about the Berkey guy, so you may know a few things about him. For example, you are well aware of the superior quality and effectiveness of Berkey water filters and accessories. But did you know the Berkeys have had independent lab tests done to prove just how effective they are? It's true, and he can email you the test results. Just visit GoBerkey.com. You may also know that the Berkey guy has helped tens of thousands of people get better prepared. Now here's something you may not know. GoBerkey.com has amazing specials and deals all the time on a wide variety of survival and preparedness products. Most ready to ship same day. Visit the Berkey guy at GoBerkey.com and be sure to click the red Products on Sale Now button. You can always call toll-free 877-886-3653. Again, that's 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com, home of the Berkey guy.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
Remember Pearl Harbor. Now you can buy, for the first time ever, the 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender solid gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve. Call 1-800-329-6700 right now or go online to usmoneyreserve.com. 1-800-329-6700.
Normal blood pressure, naturally. How would that make you feel?
I'm Don from New Mexico. January of 2000, I had a heart attack. Then my real health began going downhill. I had high blood pressure, diabetes, poor vision. I wasn't sleeping well. I was a mess.
Don reports dramatic improvements with Heart and Body Extract.
I started taking Heart and Body Extract. From within a few days, I started sleeping better. My blood pressure normalized. My diabetes normalized. My sleep improved.
Experience these benefits and more when your body heals itself with the assistance of Heart and Body Extract. Order at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. That's hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305.
And folks, I did not expect this at all. By the 7th, 8th, and 9th day, I saw dramatic improvements from taking Heart and Body Extract.
Heart and Body Extract comes with a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
And during the last segment, I was mentioning the question that was asked by Niels Bohr during the development of the atomic bomb. Is it big enough? And one might think he was saying, is it big enough to, kill the enemy? And what he meant was, is it big enough to end this insanity? Because we've tried TNT, trinitrotoluene. We've tried machine guns. We've tried poison gas. We've blistered skin. We've tried lots of ways of killing en masse. And his question, I believe, related to how can we be sure that the atomic bomb is big enough to end the insatiable appetite for the horror and destruction of man-made devices on the rest of mankind? And that's a great question. Is it big enough? And obviously, we're still killing people. We're still killing people with weapons, and we're still starting wars, and we're still pushing around small countries because we've got some of those devices. We've got some in our arsenal, and we can vaporize any city on the planet at will. Some guy could have a bad swing on the golf course. Well, in our case, it would be the golf course. Or it could be just not dropping the ball through the hoop. And he could say, you know what, that's it. Let's vaporize those guys. Imagine that. So that's what I think was meant by Niels Bohr when he asked the question, is it big enough? Werner Bock, we were talking about Japan using biological weapons. Are they big enough? And so we've experimented with all kinds of weapons, projectiles. We've sliced and diced people. We've given them injections to kill them. We have cut their heads off. We've set them up in front of firing squads. We've mowed them down and pushed them into mass graves with bulldozers. We've vaporized them with atomic weapons. And there's no end in sight. There's no end in sight what madmen are doing. And who are these madmen? And I suggest that, class, if you have the time, that you watch the series Manhattan. It's about the Manhattan Project. It is and you'll see in this series, I'm sure a lot of it's embellished, but you'll see these little people who decide that they want to be in charge, like the military police, and they want to tell everybody what to do, and they want to arrest people, and there's even a point in the series where a person, a scientist, is murdered, a mathematician is murdered, and it's covered up, and it's used as a way for the military police to have even more power to tell people what to do. And if you extrapolate that out to today, that's what's happening with our freedoms. The police are telling us what to do. You know, you go through these checkpoints, and if they're willing to let you go through, you go through. Otherwise, you may get shot or arrested. And if you happen to run for office and win, you may get arrested as well, as did Mike Parsons. And now you're starting to see with the Donald Trump phenomenon that the Republican Party is doing everything they can to stop his progress. Everything they can. And it looks like there's a statement from one of the higher-ups in the Republican Party that what's happening is a disgrace. And the quote is something like, well, just may have to burn the Republican Party down in Colorado. Werner, what's happening? What are your thoughts about microwaves? You've been measuring them out in your neck of the woods.
Well, my friend Renate, she ordered 2 detection devices for monitors about microwaves.
Can you speak up just a little bit, please?
Oh, we have 2 detection. We have 2 detection devices, and they are very effective. And we located the sources of the microwaves and the density. And it's quite a learning process around here. And basically, where we are living here, they got this valley, this farm, they got it all covered. There's one big microwave tower within 3/4 of a mile, and there is massive radiation hitting us here at the house. And then there are different stations around the surrounding woods that surrounds that farmland, and the tall pine trees or tall spruce trees. And there are different locations where relays have been installed now for a long while, where people are, where they can bombard anyone they want with their microwaves or whatever they got. Because the meter, as soon as you point it towards that direction, it goes right in the upper range of red, you know.
You're absolutely right. And
including in our newly opened food supermarket. As soon as we approach, it's all over the supermarket, inside the supermarket, but when we approach the cash register, it pretty near went off the scale.
Okay, so the microwave radiation that you've detected peaked as you got closer to the cash register.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I found. I haven't found it around the cash register, but what I have found is as you get closer to computers, the electromagnetic radiation does increase. And I have a tri-field meter that I've used. Dr. Shealy has one as well. And I walked around our house with it. And I was very, very careful when I built this house to eliminate as much of the electromagnetic radiation as I could. We do not have Wi-Fi running in the farmhouse. Don't have it on the farm. I could turn it on, at any point just by going to a computer and logging into my router and turning on Wi-Fi, but I've turned that off. Class, you can do that as well if you go into the address of your router, and mine would be like 192.168.1. something, and then you could, with your password and account, log in as the administrator, go to the Wi-Fi setup and disable it. It's as simple as that, and you can disable your Wi-Fi on the fly. And most routers are set up as 192.168.1. something. And look it up. Just go to your favorite search engine and look up how to disable Wi-Fi. Another way to do it is if you're going to sleep at night, just unplug the power supply to your router. It's as simple as that, and it stops it. But it doesn't stop your neighbors, their routers, their wireless, from entering your house. And if you have a wireless device like an iPad or a computer, and just go to set up Wi-Fi and just look at all the choices that you have. I'm sure you've seen it if you go to a hotel or motel or a restaurant. You want to find out what Wi-Fi is available. You find lots to choose from. You just don't always have the access to them, but you can see that they're out there. Well, you're absolutely right. And what I found in our farmhouse was that we have a General Electric gas stove, and right by the clock, there's a lot of electromagnetic radiation. And we have a microwave oven that we use. It's like a range hood microwave oven. I bought it because it was less expensive to have a microwave oven range hood than it was to have a range hood to exhaust the cooking fumes outside. And the clock on that, which is always going, has a lot of electromagnetic radiation. Move over to the refrigerator, and you have a lot out there too. And sometimes, depending on your telephone, you might have some. If you have an electronic telephone, you might find some more there. You might find some by your computer monitor and also by your computer. And so I'm in the studio right now, and there are multiple computers, but they are on. I've made some extension cords, cables, and the computers are about 15 feet away from me. So normally you don't see a computer that is not next to the monitor. My computers in the studio are about 15 feet away. And then the monitors, I'm sitting at the microphone, and I cannot touch any of the monitors. They're that far away from me. I'm on a very wide table, and I'm stretching my left hand out. The closest monitor to my left hand is a foot away, with my arms stretched out. So and distance is your friend, class. The farther away you can keep these electronic devices, the better. And if you're going to use a cell phone, which I recommend you dump your cell phone, but if you're determined to carry one with you, don't put it in your pockets. Certainly don't put it in your right front pants pocket. I mean, why would you do that? Think about the proximity there, and why would you, ladies? Why would you carry one in your bra? I mean, why would you do that? Think about that, and think about the breast cancer, and then you're noticing that more and more people are getting brain cancer. And why would that be? Well, obviously there's a correlation with the cell phones. Left side of the brain. Most people are right-handed, so they write with the right hand. They use their phone with their left hand, so the left side of the head is where the cell phones normally are, and there's microwave transmissions right there, right next to, touching your skull. Straight shot through the ear into the brain. It makes absolutely no sense to do that. So if you're going to use a cell phone, keep it at a distance. Use it as a speakerphone, or use it with one of those earbuds and microphones. Werner?
Vincent, may I regress just for a moment?
Sure.
In regard to when we were talking about BSE, and I was doing some reading up about different things, and a lot of the most dangerous pathogens and cultures are being shipped without biosecurity from one university lab to another. And there, about 30 or 40 years ago, a neighbor, he referred me to. He said that the survey at the university, at an American university, there years earlier, and they asked the students, would you be willing to kill someone for $50,000? And what I understood...
Hold that thought. Hold, class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now, with equipment purchased from IronEdison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of IronEdison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our IronEdison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at IronEdison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Is there a difference in body armor? You bet there is. Quality, warranty, price. Get it all from Patriot Armor. Veteran-owned and operated Patriot Armor plates are made in America. Extensively tested, independent lab certified. Come in many options and protection levels with a lifetime warranty on our steel armor plates and Viper plate carriers. Plus, industry-leading prices starting at just $149.99. Click PatriotArmorDefense.com or call 727-280-7146. When your life depends on it, trust no other. Patriot Armor.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
When Dr. Lane Sebring appeared on Fox News and claimed that he could give seniors a second shot at youth, viewers were highly skeptical. But then they saw the proof. Despite being 61 years old, Dr. Sebring is still competing in martial arts competitions against guys half his age and winning. But what's even more remarkable are his lab tests that back it all up. His blood pressure checks in at a healthy 110/78, and his blood sugar never jumps above 70. So what's his secret? Sebring has been using a powerful green drink that he personally formulated called Patriot Power Greens. Patriot Power Greens was originally created to help older guys in the military who are dealing with achy joints and stiff muscles. And for a limited time, Dr. Sebring is letting you try the drink absolutely free. All he asks is that you chip in a few bucks to help cover shipping. To claim your free samples of Patriot Power Greens, go to greens75.com. Greens75.com. Greens75.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states.
Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
75 years ago, America suffered one of the worst moments in American history, the attack on Pearl Harbor. Now you can remember December 7th, 1941, with the purchase of the first ever 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender solid gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve. Call 1-800-490-3200 right now for the official 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve, the only company authorized to distribute these 100% solid gold coins. Remember Pearl Harbor with this limited official gold release. 1-800-490-3200 or online at usmoneyreserve.com.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't pick on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
Class Werner Bock is with us from New Brunswick, Canada. We're talking about mad cow disease. We're talking about the horrors of war and weapons and killing people. And Werner, did you say a university was asking its students, would they be willing to kill someone for $50,000?
And according to what I checked on, 40% answered with yes if they can get away with it, if it can't be proven to them. And that this was about, it must have been at least 40 years ago, I think somewhere in the 80s or late 70s, when the survey was being done. And I don't think the morals have improved any. And the more the money comes into play, and then more these students are weighed down with heavy tuition fees, and they have to mortgage most of them half of their lifetime if they ever can pay off the mortgage. They are basically under the gun financially.
Well, the United States Army pays less than that to kill people. I just looked it up. A private makes about, with less than 2 years experience, makes less than $20,600 a year. Okay, a private first class makes $21,664 a year with less than 2 years experience. So for less than $22,000, you can get these people on board to kill people.
Well, since you quote a few figures, this might be of interest too. Here in Canada, a young fellow, when he just comes from boot camp, RCMP boot camp, he starts out the first 3 years with $54,000 a year, and after 3 years, without merits or without promotion, he gets booted up to, I think, $74,000 a year.
Yeah.
And the way it looks, the Canadian dollar is now a little bit over 70 cents American. Mm-hmm. So the financial situation of the Canadian government is not that rosy either, But, I think, especially in North America, too many people, they are living in a make-believe world, while the government is selling off their assets, their countries, from underneath them. Big multinational corporations, they grab it and then they shuffle the resources out to some other countries where they have cheap labor.
Werner, according to, and I just looked this up, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics and Occupational Employment Statistics Survey as of May 2008, so that's, it's not quite current. It said the average wage for all occupations combined is $42,000 a year. $42,000 a year. I'm rounding. Okay. The average wage for police and sheriff's patrol is $53,000. $53,000.
So it attracts more and more those characters who want to make a lot of money and who are not so much concerned about serving the public.
Yeah. Yeah, they give them a gun and they let them shoot dogs and animals and people with impunity. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So for you mentioned $50,000 a year about 40 years ago. Well, for $52,810 today, well, no, in 2008, you could kill with impunity, and they'll pay you to do it. They'll give you a uniform, a gun, and all the accessories necessary to kill people.
And we got a saying in German, one crow doesn't hack the eyes out of another crow.
Can you say that one more time, please?
one crow doesn't pick the eyes out of another crow. That means when the proverbial minnow hits the pan, they all stick together. Birds of a feather will stick together.
Yeah, we call that the blue plague.
Yeah.
Werner Bock, thank you so much for being with us and taking time away from your farm.
Well, not much going on here anymore, Vincent.
Well, thank
right
you
now,
for your
it's
advice.
just a question of survival.
You're absolutely right. We'll see you next time, Werner Bock.
Okay.
How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked? Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. Captain John Reagan's with us. Welcome, Captain John Regan.
Good morning, Vincent.
Is it Monday? Hey, John, I just wanted to tell you, I saw a post. I can't resist. So in Borough Park, Brooklyn, that's in New York, police are trying to figure out how more than $280,000 was stolen from an HSBC bank branch on 13th Avenue in Borough Park and Brooklyn, New York. And so the robbers, if you want to call them that, drilled through the ceiling. Okay. But here's the point. It's not the $280,000. They can always print more. Okay. That's not the problem. They act as if that's a problem when Federal Reserve notes are stolen from a bank. But the point I'd like to make is that safety deposit boxes were also opened and contents were stolen. So it's unknown what was in them. So for those who might be listening who think that they can put valuables in safety deposit boxes and they'll be safe rather than having the contents at home, you just learned that is not the case. Safety deposit boxes are not necessarily safe at a bank. So you might rethink that. That's the point. That's the whole point of that. So what do you think, John?
I'm just thinking that, as crooks get more of the tools that have previously been in the hands of government, how much more they'll be able to do.
Mm-hmm. Right. So now we have the crooks and the government.
Or did we just repeat ourselves?
Yeah, very, very good point. Okay, preparedness. Is that where we're going to start today?
Yeah, it usually gets pushed to the bottom of the stack, and there's some information there I think's important to get out. We've talked a lot about how, especially in the colder climates, it's really tough trying to come up with good substitutes for the oils that we have available today. And it's important to have the omega-3 fats in your diet, and I'm pretty much down to the point now where, you at least got to start raising chickens, because you can get, the eggs are a good source of omega-3s. If you're fortunate enough to have a decent water source where you can have fish, they're a good source of omega-3s. But we look at some of the other oils that we use, the healthier ones like olive oil and coconut oil, and that starts to be a problem when the supply chain goes down, as well as other things tropical. One thing I did run across that we can keep is bananas, and I've got a link there called Bananas, where you can raise banana trees in a pot and bring them indoors when it's cold, and at least get a chance to enjoy the tropical. Don't know if you'll be able to create the ice cream and have a banana split or not, but at least it will give you a little bit of change in your diet, so that you're not just eating the same thing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want olive oil, that gets to be a bit trickier. And I had learned even before I moved to the Ozarks that even in Texas, it's not a normal place where you would plant olive trees. They're kind of a finicky plant. They don't like the cold. And then they, don't like a lot of rain either. So it can be problematic trying to grow them. I did find a dwarf plant that, again, like the banana trees, you can keep in pots and move indoors when it's cold. Of course, with any kind of dwarf plant, you're going to not be able to produce large amounts of fruit that you would from, the regular trees that, grow outdoors. But the other thing that caught my attention is the amount of time it takes to get an olive tree mature enough, even if you are able to grow them. There's some varieties that you can start getting fruit in 3 years, but many of these, it was 5 to 12 years. So if you haven't already gone back in the past and planted your olive trees, you're not going to have them real soon. And then you got to be able to take the olives and, of course, make the olive oil out of it. Since this, I've looked up, there's, again, some coconut plants that you can raise. Again, it would have to be done in a pot, and from what I've seen is you keep it outdoors and protect it in the wintertime, keep it from freezing. And even doing that, it's quite a chore making coconut oil. So it's like I say, you need to start looking at everything that you buy from the economy and look at the ingredients and how would you make this, how would you substitute for it, or how would you do without once the supply chain collapses.
Mm-hmm. And it's even worse than that, John. I had all of these tomato plants that were started, and all kinds of varieties, and peppers, and I put them out to get a little bit of sun, and then at night I put them in the barn, and the chickens raced into the barn, and they ate them all. So I'm starting over, And I may have to buy some plants because our garden is ready, and we're just waiting for the weather to warm up just a little bit. So what I'm saying is all the plants that I started, the chickens ate them. Now, what do you do about that? That's a problem because the chickens eat the ticks and the bugs. So and they supply eggs. And they do a great job at that. But when I wasn't looking, they saw these little tender. It's dessert. It was dessert, and so they ate all these small plants, and 18 of them. 18 times 4. That's how many they ate. So that's another problem. But I'd like to share with the class that, many years ago we planted chestnut trees here on the farm. Apple, pear, peach, nectarine, plum. And, we're looking at, are we going to stay in the country? That's something that we're looking at. Some of the instructors are thinking that this might not be the place where we want to stay. And, but at the same time, we're hedging our bet with planting grapes and berries and so forth, so elderberries. So we're doing all those, we're doing everything, and I'm very concerned about the direction our country is going, and I'm concerned about the food supply, and, John, the thought is that if Trump doesn't get the nomination on the Republican syndicate, if it's stolen from him, there may be a revolution. If Trump does get it, there may be a revolution. And what we're seeing is that there's so much dishonesty, and we've been lied to at such high levels. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. John, I was talking with a guy, and he said, he's getting kind of old, and he's looking forward to the revolution. I mean, those are the kind of things that people are saying. He's not saying he wants to start it. He's just thinking that if he's going to be fighting in it, he'd like to do it while he's still strong. It's amazing. People are furious. Are you feeling the same kind of vibes? I mean, Americans are angry.
I've actually seen them be angry for over 20 years now. Mm-hmm. It's just that those that support the Constitution tend not to act out violence, whereas the leftists, we see what kind of violence they do, mm-hmm. whether it's the union thugs or the useful idiots on college campi.
Yeah.
But we just had our third round of hail come through North Texas this year. Fortunately, it stayed north of us. This time, it was hail baseball to softball size. And that was just devastating in certain places. And we're under threat from so many areas, just from normal Mother Nature. When you're raising crops, you get hail come through, it can destroy the crops. You get a late freeze, which is what they're under threat of on the East Coast, where they're talking about losing peach and grape crops. And then just add in a tornado, and how do you recover from that once the supply chain's gone? Because even in normal times, you can just go a few miles from where I'm at, and it's kind of like Joplin was. There's still just this path of destruction. They're, of course, demolishing what's left of homes to rebuild. All that takes a process. All of it takes materials, and I really don't have great answers for how do you prepare to recover from that in the time that's coming.
I'm looking at an image, and I'll post this during the break, of a mobile home that was hit by hail. The windows are smashed out, holes through the side of the mobile home, and then below that there's a picture of a car. And these are hailstones, the size of a golf ball or baseball. Absolutely looks like the mobile home was machine gunned, and so was the car. Class, we'll be right back. I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Normal blood pressure, naturally. How would that make you feel?
I'm Don from New Mexico. January of 2000, I had a heart attack. Then my real health began going downhill. I had high blood pressure, diabetes, poor vision. I wasn't sleeping well. I was a mess.
Don reports dramatic improvements with Heart and Body Extract.
I started taking Heart and Body Extract. From within a few days, I started sleeping better. My blood pressure normalized. My diabetes normalized. My sleep improved.
Experience these benefits and more when your body heals itself with the assistance of Heart and Body Extract. Order at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. That's hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305.
And folks, I did not expect this at all. By the 7th, 8th, and 9th day, I saw dramatic improvements from taking Heart and Body Extract.
Heart and Body Extract comes with a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
This is Dan Pillett. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Do you have difficulty taking supplements? Are you searching for a high-quality, complete nutritional drink that your whole family will love? NutriMedical's Life Support has arrived. All of your daily nutritional requirements in one quick, delicious drink. Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support is a proprietary blend of vegan protein, activated vitamins, essential minerals, amino acids, probiotics, green tea, digestive enzymes, anti-inflammatories, cancer prevention, detoxification, and much more. Your body will high-five you for this one. Life Support is the best complete nutrition meal replacement on the market. Whether you are an elite athlete, have post-operative challenges, chronic illness, elderly, or a family that just wants a quick, delicious drink, try Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support for optimized nutrition in one great tasting smoothie. Just add cold water, almond milk, fruit, or anything else you like. NutriMedical's Life Support. Try our great tasting chocolate or vanilla today. Call 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com. NutriMedical.com for the whole family.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Block-It Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockItPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockItPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockItPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Captain John Regan's with us, and we're talking about hail. And John, I just did a quick calculation, and hail, we don't know the exact speed that hailstones travel, but they can travel up to 106 miles per hour, theoretically. So, and how fast is that compared to a baseball? Well, Major League Baseball's leaving the bat can hit about 110 miles an hour. That's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. So you were talking about hailstones about the size of a baseball. Is that right?
Even up to softball size.
It's huge. Absolutely huge. So I remember we had a hailstorm in Virginia, and I put on a motorcycle helmet. I wanted to go about 100 feet from one of our farm buildings to the house, and there was a hailstorm, and I literally put on safety goggles and a helmet, and I was being pelted, and these were just the size of marbles, maybe, large marbles. I remember that the car dealer nearby had a sale, and he called it a hail of a sale because these vehicles were, these were all dented up. They were new vehicles that were all dented up, and he was able to pull out some of the dents, but some of them still remained, and it was pretty destructive. So I posted that article about, and you'll see the mobile home that it looked like it had been machine gunned, and the automobile as well, including the windshield. And you're right, we do need to worry about these things. And would our roof sustain this kind of a pelting from Mother Nature? Some may, some may not.
Well, the last storm that had come through, which wasn't near this size, took out a lot of skylights, so people only had tarps up. And we can only imagine what it did to the tarps.
Yeah, and I remember when we were building the farmhouse, we were considering skylights, and we decided not to do it for some of those reasons. When you think about it, some skylights are just these plexiglass curved domes, if you will, and they can be taken out as well. So not a lot of protection there. And I think there's one rule about skylights, and they always, over time, they'll leak. So that's something that we avoided. We've got John in Austin. John, welcome.
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. Captain, I'm about maybe a few hundred miles south of you. And it has been interesting weather so far this year. What I was calling, though, about is having ways to support each other. What if, Vincent, we, let's say you live in an area, gets hit by a hailstorm, and it wipes out your crop, kills maybe half your herd of cattle. I guess that's not uncommon with softball and baseball-sized hail, is that farm animals can be killed if they're out in the open or injured. What if we had agreements or set up something with other communities in different parts of the state or region, that if you got hammered, that an area that was unaffected by the weather or the event could come in and help?
Well, it used to be that your neighbors were your insurance policy. If your barn burned down, the neighbors got together to help raise a new one. And with most of what we've been talking about, of course, freezes can take a wide area. And about all you can do with that is make sure you have a good amount of food storage, just in case you lose this year's growing season. But even with tornadoes, relatively speaking, those take out a small area. It's like here, the hail was north of us, so the vast majority of the Metroplex did not receive any damage. So if we were in, the post-supply chain era, then, we'd be looking to, support our neighbors.
Yeah, and let me add this, John, in Austin. At the meetups, for 5 years we've been asking, I'll tell you what, how would you like to support each other and get on a list and make sure we have your phone numbers, and if you have a problem, we'll help you, you help us. No one's willing to do it. No one. Now, it's only 5 years worth of experience, and that's a problem. It's a problem that we've seen. John, you've seen it. John Regan's seen it. We'll
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Get a ProPure with the Pro 1G 2.0 cleanable reusable filter and remove up to 200 contaminants. Drink water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure products, including the new ProMax shower filter. There's a ProPure for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's PROPURUSA.com or 800-544-3533.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Biochemistry determines your mood, memory, energy, and endurance. Your body's primary metabolic function is to make protein. One World Whey is a unique, non-denatured protein. This enables your body to have virtually 100% utilization, whereas typical whey protein powders offer no more than 18% utilization of protein. One World Whey also delivers life-giving frequencies to your cells. The net result for so many people is improved energy, mood, and elimination of pain from inflammation.
This technologically enhanced One World Whey has been really amazing for me. I'm 36 years old, and for the past several years, I've been struggling with lack of energy, drive, and stamina. And after just 2 weeks on this product, I'm feeling so much more energy. My yoga practice has deepened, and as a massage therapist, I'm able to see more clients than I've been able to in years. I've never felt results that quick with anything I've ever taken.
Call 888-988-3325 or visit oneworldwhey.com. That's oneworld.com.
We use mobile devices right against our bodies every day, but growing scientific evidence has emerged showing serious health risks associated with exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The solution is Defender Shield, the most effective mobile radiation shielding ever developed. Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation from cell phones, tablets, and laptops, and starts at just $64.99. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. For 10% off, use promo code GCN. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in mobile radiation shielding.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
75 years ago, America suffered one of the worst moments in American history, the attack on Pearl Harbor. Now you can remember December 7th, 1941, with the purchase of the first ever 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender solid gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve. Call 1-800-490-3200 right now for the official 75th anniversary Pearl Harbor legal tender gold coin from the U.S. Money Reserve, the only company authorized to distribute these 100% solid gold coins. Remember Pearl Harbor with this limited official gold release. 1-800-490-3200 or online at usmoneyreserve.com.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares unfiltered and untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a select quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
And John in Austin. John, did you have something else you wanted to share with us?
Oh, not really. I mean, it's interesting. You guys do a really, really good job, and I've gotten a lot of really good ideas listening to you. And my only thing is I'm in the suburban locked into suburbia, where I just don't have a lot of land and everything. And so I have to think of ways of utilizing space to, if I wanted to grow and plant. And I've been teaching myself gardening. And I guess one of the things, if you think you're going to go in and have a bunch of magic seeds that you picked up online and going to go out and throw them in the middle of your dirt and bingo, crop.
John, you're right. You're right on the money. I'll tell you why. We've talked about growing a garden here, and John Regan has had some quotes from Marjorie Wildcraft. It's not easy. If you think, as you said, if you think you're going to put some seeds in and it's going to just work, you're all set because you bought these seeds on the internet and everything's good. That's not the case. You need to start your garden right now. And then you can have chickens, your favorite chickens, like I have, that follow me everywhere. If I call them, they come running, and those darn chickens ate my plants that I was going to put in the garden. So even your friends can cause you problems.
Well, I mean, in an urban setting, you've got squirrels and possums, coons. Right. In my neighborhood alone, I mean, I've seen these animals. I've had deer walk down the middle of the street, coyotes, a fox. Mm-hmm. And everyone thinks, oh, that's really cute. Grow a garden, and you come out one night, and there are the raccoons, all fat and happy in the middle of your garden.
You're absolutely right. And the deer will eat the bark off your fruit trees and wreak havoc with your orchard. John, thanks so much for calling in.
All right. You guys have a good one. Take care.
Thank you. John Regan?
And in some cases, we can do things to try to prevent some of the problems, like with tornadoes. You've had on the air Johnny Delirious and the concrete dome homes, which would resist tornadoes. And of course, some of us can't afford that, but especially if you're outside city limits and don't have all the code to deal with, Mother Earth News has great information on how to make your own dome home using basically sandbags filled with pea gravel. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you build that up, and that's going to be just almost as resistant as the concrete dome is. So there are things we can do. There's other things that's more of a challenge, like say you have a greenhouse, whether it's the plastic type or the glass type. That's not going to do too well with a hailstorm like what just went through here.
That's exactly right. And our family has been looking at greenhouses, and we've been looking at glass, and we don't. Glass greenhouses are pretty rare today. And you're right. The weather is really, really a concern. And then the plastic, greenhouses, you recover them every year or 2 or 3, depending on the thickness of the plastic. That's a problem. So where are you going to get the plastic in 2 or 3 years? So do you buy it all now and make sure you protect it so it doesn't age with the sun and the air? And it's a real problem. But the solutions that we're implementing here on our farm is we are trying to make our farm as efficient as possible. So we're using raised bed gardening. We're using traditional gardening. We're building hoop houses. I need to get down to Arkansas and see if I can get one of those greenhouses from our instructor. And we want to raise as much of our own food as possible, because as we're finding out, the levels of radiation in the United States, as reported from one of our instructors on the ground in Los Angeles, is really, really high, of great concern. And we're going to have future reports about that. But, do you want to survive? If you do, you probably need to seriously consider getting out of Dodge and getting a farm somewhere in the middle of nowhere. And look at netc.com and figure out where the radiation is the heaviest. Stay away from nuclear reactors and power stations, and industry that pollutes, and what that really means is you're going to have to go to the middle of nowhere. And that's kind of where we are here in Missouri, in the middle of nowhere. But South Dakota and North Dakota, that's even more in the middle of nowhere, and that's great, but it's freezing cold. So, and then, of course, if you want to get warmer, then you head south of the border. By the way, class, if you go to usaprepares.com, there's a pop-up that will ask you if you'd like to give us your first name and your email address, and you can join the USA Prepares Club, and we'll send you updates about things that we're doing, events that we're going to have, where we're going to be speaking, and so forth. And that only is used by us. We don't sell that. We're not asking you for your last name. We're just it's going to be a one-way push from us to help keep you informed. So if you're interested, just go to usaprepares.com, and there's a real email address and a real first name. And if you want, and what we'll do is we'll keep you updated. Our thanks go out to Edmar, Vinny, Joey in Michigan, and Miles for helping make all that happen. John Regan?
And just to finish the section, there's a link called Pioneering, and this goes to an article, How the Early Pioneers Preserved Food and What They Ate. And keep in mind when you read something like this, even in the pioneer days, they had a supply chain. So until those types of supply chains get re-implemented, some of the supplies that you read about might not be available, and those were key things you might need to stock up on. But it goes into meat and vegetables and various preserving methods, pickling vegetables, drying vegetables, salting meat, which yesterday we talked about the ton of salt, and that was just for 10 cows. So for your needs, I've got salt that's probably enough for 5 to 10 years for Becky and myself. Not in a position right now to have animals, but if I get in that position, then I'll have to beef up my salt. Drying meat, smoking meat, and in addition to what the pioneers did, it might be beneficial to go down to your local library and see if you can get information about how the Native Americans in your area lived and what they did, especially in the wintertime, because they didn't have, these fancy houses with central heat and air. And you can glean a lot of information because obviously they did survive, the normal conditions. And if it's tailored to your area, that's the more the better.
Yeah, and we recommend working with Mother Nature rather than fighting Mother Nature. So keep that in mind. If you can use the sun, if you can use the wind, if you can use uphill versus downhill. I mean, think about how you can use nature instead of energy from oil and sources that may not be available. And that's what we're doing. That's literally what we're doing. We're making our farm more efficient. And, we've had a luxury in the United States, and we've become complacent. And that luxury is we have a lot of space. So if you have a lot of space, you don't have to be as efficient as if you don't have a lot of space. The farms in Europe are much more efficient because they don't have as much space. They can't, an average farm might be 20 acres in Europe. In Missouri, it's over 200 acres. And I really don't know how to get us to work with our neighbors the way it's done in Europe. And I guess maybe it'll take a war on our soil to do that. Because in Europe, they know that they have to work together. Whether they like each other or not, they have to work together. And heck, we have wars with our neighbors that are right next door. I mean, I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about there's some people in the United States that live in a development, and they hate their neighbors next door, and they do stupid things to each other. Put nails in the driveway. I mean, it's ridiculous. Talk it out and stop it.
You can almost get into a shooting war in the church just talking pre-trib and post-trib.
You can get in a shooting war in your car. You can, pull out, and some guy thinks that you shouldn't have pulled out, and then there's an argument, and then someone pulls out a gun, and bang, it happens. It's nuts. It's nuts. And some of this is medication fueled from the pharmacomafia. Some of it is stress at home. Some of it is marital difficulties. And by the way, how much of this is brought to us by Hollywood? How much is taught by Hollywood? How much is taught by video games? Just the idea is to blow up more, destroy more, eviscerate the enemy, kill them, and then try to get a better score next time. Hit the reset button, and then do it again better next time, so you get more people dead. And we're thinking this is okay. It's not okay. Killing people's not okay. Harming people's not okay. Only your government would think that this is normal. Only your government would work on biological weapons, nuclear weapons, atomic weapons, microwave weapons. We're not doing that kind of stuff. Doesn't make sense to us. It's not in our DNA. You've got to be defective to think like this.
Well, speaking of killing people, and let me just take a brief sidetrack here. We've talked about the unfunded liabilities of Social Security and Medicare, and there's only so much you can do with that, and I guess we'll have to talk about that after the break.
Okay. We will. Captain John Reagan's with us. TheFinancialStateOfTheUnion.com. TheFinancialStateOfTheUnion.com. And class, if you want to follow along with these links, just click on TheFinancialStateOfTheUnion.com and then click on the News tab. We'll be right back. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from IronEdison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of IronEdison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our IronEdison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at IronEdison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
If you want to raise the next generation of patriot leaders, take a look at Freedom Project Academy, a Judeo-Christian online school for kindergarten through high school. No Common Core teaching methods or high-stakes testing. Freedom Project Academy is government-free, doesn't accept any government funding, and is a fully accredited private school. All classes are taught live online with real teachers across the country. Open enrollment runs March through July, but classes fill up quickly. Check them out at fpeusa.org. That's fpeusa.org.
Hey, I rode the elevator with you, but I don't work on the upper floors. I just want to squeeze in there right next to you, so the RFID scanner in my pocket can capture all your personal information, your debit and credit cards, even your work ID badge. So your identity is now my identity. Going up, so am I.
For over 10 years, ID Stronghold has pioneered RFID blocking wallets and ID badge holders for consumers, the U.S. military, and even the Executive Office of the President. Shouldn't you be protected too? ID Stronghold wallets cost about the same as wallets in most stores, but give you extra protection.
I'm Walt Augustinowitz, founder and CEO of ID Stronghold. Don't be a victim of electronic pickpocketing. Protect yourself from crimes you can't see with ID Stronghold wallets, card sleeves, and purses.
Visit idstronghold.com and get the original RFID blocking wallets and badge holders. idstronghold.com.
Are you worried about how dangerous the world has become? In these days of terrorist attacks, natural disasters, or even a future collapse, you need to be medically prepared to keep your family safe. I'm Joe Alton, MD of store.doomandbloom.net, where you'll find an entire line of uniquely designed medical kits and supplies for when help is not on the way. For everything from individual first aid kits to the ultimate family medical bag, go to store.doomandbloom.net today. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.
Captain John Regan's with us. John, please continue.
So we were talking about the unfunded liabilities, and there's just no way around that. We can't get rid of the programs because that would cause so much unrest that the country would be destroyed. What else can they do? Well, they could raise the age of eligibility. That not only causes some unrest, but it also causes more problems. We're already seeing where seniors can't afford to retire. They're still working more than any time in history. And if you raise the rate, then that's that many more jobs we would need for those seniors that need work. But apparently California has the ultimate solution. Granny costs too much, and the solution, beginning of the end for Granny, California to permit medically assisted suicide. You know, Granny, you're costing us too much. It's time to go.
It's an absolute outrage. Signed by Governor, Jerry Brown?
Who else?
Yeah. What an outrage. And we can do this at a lower cost. We can let you kill yourself at a lower cost by new drugs from the pharmaca mafia. Yeah, isn't that amazing that marijuana is illegal to be smoked in a lot of places, but in California, if you want to kill yourself, no problem, because there was a guy who was on the radio. I think he found himself in some financial difficulties, and he used to have a broadcast. He would talk about follow the money. He kept saying it. Well, he's absolutely right. Follow the money. John, you have a very disturbing post on your website, a link to it. Underground fire nears radioactive waste storage site in St. Louis, Missouri. 100,000 tons of nuclear waste stored in a landfill outside St. Louis may soon meet an out-of-control underground fire. And then there's a post from the sisters, there's a banner at an abandoned gas station. The Franciscan Sisters of Mary hold a vigil near an abandoned gas station to call attention to the possible dangers posed by the Westlake landfill. Possible dangers? These are dangers, okay? And this banner says, Westlake winds blow everywhere. That's absolutely correct. Westlake winds blow everywhere, the Westlake landfill. I did a simple calculation. So we have 100,000 tons of nuclear weapons waste stored in the landfill. So how much is that, if we each get our fair share, okay, how much is that for every man, woman, and child in the United States of America? It's about £1. We each get £1 if it's distributed equally among all of us. That's how big this is. So there's a fire underground, burning out of control. We don't know how to stop it, and it's advancing toward 100,000 tons of nuclear weapons waste, brought to you by your government.
And one of the things found out in this update, this site has the largest estimated amount of thorium-230, which is a long-lived, radiological nucleotide, and it's more than any other U.S. weapons storage or disposal site. And they say that the soil concentrations of radium-226 and thorium-230 are substantially greater than your typical milled tailing waste, which is the processing of uranium to make it usable for weapons. And this all goes back to the Manhattan Project.
Class, if you want to see a riveting series about the construction of the atomic bombs, the Manhattan Project, please consider watching the series called Manhattan. Our son brought it over on DVD, and it's disgusting. It's disgusting what you'll see. I'm sure a lot of it's embellished, but even if 10% is true, it's disgusting. Captain John Regan, thank you so much for being with us. Class, above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Extend your life with Extendovite, a 7-herb combination made from garlic, cayenne, bilberry, hawthorn, ginkgo biloba, valerian, and milk thistle. Each herb was chosen for their abilities to help improve irregular heartbeats, chest pain, lower cholesterol, as well as normalize blood pressure and clean and strengthen arteries, plus much, much more. Doctors have taken people off of some or all of their pills just because they believe their patients got better while taking Extendovite. Get the dependability of Extendovite. Just see how you feel in 6 months. A 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid is only $69.95 plus shipping and handling. Call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendo.